What happened?
Varejao gets 2 jump shots, misses both of them.
Yeah, but take the first shot.
Chicago ball up by 1.
They got
how much time?
1.3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. Take that shot.
So you can put it on if you like, yeah. As long as it's not on delay.
This passed up the best shot.
So they will... Okay. Thank you, Kevin. I'm with Reggie Miller and the Czar, Mike Fratello, here in the Mile High City at the Pepsi Center, downtown Denver. Game 2 of the doubleheader. They are just underway as Phillips fires too strong, rebounded by Paul Gasol. The good news here, Kobe Bryant is sitting it out. Phil Jackson saying that Kobe will be rested tonight, doesn't have it in his legs. Artest is able to knock it down. And Sasha Vujacic, who has been in the doghouse the past couple of weeks in the starting lineup for the first time this season. The Nuggets still without Kenyon Martin. His return is expected shortly, but not tonight. This is a follow on the drive. It counts, and the foul.
Well, I applaud Phil Jackson and even Mike Brown in Game 1 electing to rest LeBron James. Both of these teams and coaches, they've put in their work all year to afford the luxury of being able to rest their star players at times like this late in the season. You look at Andrew Bogut and you look at Hedo Turkoglu and Chris Bosh going down. You know, this has to be a concern for some of these coaches that their superstars can get hurt in, I don't want to say a meaningless game for the Lakers, but they've already got home court wrapped up throughout the Western Conference.
Odom trying to get it inside. Here's Paul Gasol. And Anthony mishandled, able to save it. And remember, the Lakers are back-to-back. They have a game in Minneapolis tomorrow night. They will get in at 4 in the morning, so perhaps Phil wants Kobe to be ready for tomorrow night rather than go back-to-back. Denver playing back-to-back in Oklahoma City last night as Carmelo Anthony's able to knock it down. The Nuggets beat the Thunder, coming from 13 down in the fourth quarter, and led by Carmelo, who had 24 points and 11 rebounds, and also took a pretty good shot. He was unconscious momentarily off a collision that he had with Kevin Durant. What a performance last night by Durant.
How about Chauncey Billups chipping in with 15 points in the fourth quarter last night. Finished with 31. He had a great game.
Chauncey Billups against the Lakers back in early February had a career night. 39 points. He hit 9 threes, a career-high 9 of 13 from the field in that game. Kobe only 3 for 17 from the field.
You know, I want to go back to Reggie applauding Phil Jackson for sitting Kobe tonight. You know, we had a great meeting before the game in our little Q&A with him. He was very informative, very friendly. We see our test laid up underneath. He was just so generous with all the information going on. He actually looked like he liked both of you guys. The only thing he forgot to mention was that Kobe wasn't going to play tonight.
Well, you know, Phil, as all coaches, not looking to tip his hand to the Denver Nuggets, so the information did not come out, even though this is a Laker team. Gasol called for the foul. This is a Laker team that has not played since Sunday when they lost to the Spurs at home. As you take a look at the Western Conference situation where you have actually 7 teams still alive for the number 2 seed. Denver is tied with Dallas, although Dallas has the edge on a tiebreaker. The Lakers, with a win tonight, would clinch number 1 seed in the West.
Well, you've got a Laker team with Kobe Bryant will have 4 full days of rest. They haven't played since that very disappointing Sunday day loss to the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, as Phil Jackson said, I don't know if it's the knee or the ankle that's giving him problems, but during 1 or 2 of the practices this week, it just looked like Kobe Bryant had, as they quote, dead legs. And, you know, Kobe, over the last few years, have only missed a game or 2 because of injuries. The guys, Sasha Vujacic is still off to Pau Gasol. This is a guy who's been an Ironman, a workhorse. He comes to work every day. So if you got the best record in the West, and if you're Phil Jackson and can afford to rest your star player, you go ahead.
Phillips coming up short on a 3. Talk about Kobe Bryant's excellent, let's say, attendance record. He has missed only 5 games this season, which is a very low number when you consider the number of injuries that he has played through. Artest trying to flip it up. Look away from Phillips. Nene coming up short. Good job there by Odom. You just saw the standings, and there's a 4-way tie for that second spot. Although, as I mentioned, Dallas does have the tiebreaker. And you guys, I know, will break down all the possibilities as this telecast progresses. There are many permutations to talk about as Gasol has given the Lakers an 8-7 lead.
Pau Gasol, one of the most versatile big men in the NBA. He can post you up, score from the inside. He can step out, hit that jump shot along the baseline, put him on the elbow. He's very dangerous, dribbling the basketball, beating you.
Phillips rimming out, rebounded by Odom. Last night, I should say last Sunday, when the Lakers lost to San Antonio, Pau had a season high of 32. He hit 13 of 20 from the field. But in our conversation with Phil Jackson earlier, as Fisher is too strong, rebounded by Odom, and a loose ball foul. It is on the Lakers. It is on Odom. Phil telling us that we're concerned about the speed that we've been playing. We're just playing too slowly. We did show some signs against Utah last week in a victory, but fell back Sunday against San Antonio. And he said also the bench has just lost its moxie. He's getting very little from the bench.
And they were playing at a tempo, the tempo of a tortoise is what he said exactly. As Fisher pulls up in transition. They took 2 practices to just work on basic fundamentals of getting out, pushing the ball down the floor quickly, trying not to walk it down with, you know, the lethargic approach they had taken.
Meanwhile, Denver has won its last 3 after losing 5 of 6. 4 of those losses on the road. They are 51-27 as you see the foul on Derek Fisher. And you're looking at Adrian Dantley, who is the acting head coach, filling in for George Karl, who is battling neck and throat cancer. And Adrian telling us earlier that he visited George at his home earlier today. George Karl, near the end of an intense 6-week regimen of radiation and chemotherapy. Nice take by Gasol, and he's stripped. Here's a follow, leading a 3-on-2. Good job by Fisher to cut him off. And they have to reset. Nene plays the stuff. Anthony, yes, a long rebound handled by Carmelo, and he knocked down the jumper.
Yeah, that Pau Gasol should have gave the ball up to Sasha on that 2-on-1 fast break. They elected to keep the ball. Anthony doing a good job of stripping him, getting the fast break opportunity for the Nuggets.
We're halfway through this opening quarter. Fisher for 3. Rebounded by Aflalo and Phillips in the backcourt. Nene up front with Anthony and Petro. Petro playing for the injured Kenny Martin. And a foul called by Gary Zielinski. It is on Aflalo of the Nuggets. Timeout taken. 5.5 remaining in this opening quarter.
Derek Fisher comes down, centers the ball up middle of the floor, sees his defender back off. It's an easy foul line jump shot.
presented by the United States Marine Corps. And tonight we're joined on the sideline by David Aldridge. Let's check in with David.
Well, Marv, as you all mentioned, George Karl's not with the team, and he won't be with the team for a while. He underwent the last of his chemotherapy treatments yesterday. It was not a good day. He had 36 radiation treatments for his neck and throat cancer. I spoke to the woman that George calls his life partner, Kim Vondre, today. Kim said that George is in good spirits, although he's obviously dealing with the reaction to the treatment. She said it'll be about 12 weeks before doctors can determine how successful the radiation and chemotherapy treatments were. The two main problems George has right now is that his neck area where they did the radiation is very sore and red, tends to get dried, and it makes it very hard for him to talk. The other is the large amount of mucus that's been produced by these treatments. As far as George's prospects to return for the playoffs, Kim reiterated that the first round is unlikely, but if the Nuggets do advance, as she said, no one really knows for sure. Marv?
I thank you, David. And the contingent of Nugget players and coaches and staff visited George at his home earlier this week. Here is Carmelo Anthony teeing it up from downtown. Nene said when he saw George Karl maintaining his usual sense of humor, it made him feel better. Chauncey Billups watched the Duke Butler Championship game with George on Monday night. And both Chauncey and Nene said it was just great for morale to see George Karl and spend that time. Timeout is taken. The Nuggets up 12-10. And here is Carmelo Anthony.
RQ 桶面，好啊，欢迎。Has to put it up with the buzzer. Backs it in. He backs in the three. Robinson. 108,713.
Carmelo Anthony, the NBA's third leading scorer, averaging 28 a game behind LeBron James and Kevin Durant. We talked earlier about that scary moment for Carmelo in Denver. Third quarter last night, Carmelo called for traveling, then fell to the court, bumped his head into Kevin Durant's hip, was unconscious briefly, was able to recover. Meanwhile, play just continued. And as it turned out, Nuggets beat the Thunder 98-94. Denver coming back from a 13-point deficit in the fourth quarter.
Or if you're J.R. Smith, it's okay to call a timeout when your star player's lying on the floor. But I got a new nickname for Kevin Durant. I'm going to start calling him Iron Man. If his chest and hip is that strong to knock out a future Hall of Famer, Carmelo Anthony, man of steel. Wow.
Couple of misses here by Sasha Vujacic, who was in the starting lineup for the first time this season. Nene try to get it down low. Petro pops it out. Here's Phillips for three. Yes. The Nuggets by 5 with just under 4 left in this first quarter. 8-0 run for Denver. Now the Lakers are 55-22. That's the best record in the West, second in the NBA behind Cleveland. Gasol with the sweeping hook to draw the foul. And as many of you saw here on TNT, the Cavaliers without LeBron James lost to the Bulls earlier tonight. And for the Lakers, this has been a very tough stretch. their worst of the season. They have dropped 4 of their last 6. And one of the main reasons, aside from the absence of Andrew Bynum, is the fact they're not getting the bench production.
Well, I think that's been so crucial for their success over the last few years. Has been the bench. And now that you've got Lamar Odom and Sasha starting tonight, and you see Shannon Brown subbing in for Sasha right now, where are the points and the energy going to come from? You listen to Phil Jackson's comments in the press as of recent. Is his words falling on deaf ears? He doesn't know if he can motivate these guys like he used to.
When you look at statistics, the Lakers are down almost 5 full points from a year ago what they scored. Their field goal percentage is down from the 47 area to the 45% area, and it's largely due because of that second unit and then Kobe being banged up all year, some key injuries.
Strong move by Nene. Nuggets back up by 5. Also, the Lakers recently have suffered through a number of blowouts. They lost by 16 at Oklahoma City, by 17 in Atlanta. Artest was stripped, lost by 19 this past Sunday at home to the Spurs. Catch and shoot by Anthony for 3. A long 3 for Carmelo Anthony, who is on fire. 4 of 5 from the field. He has 10 points. Carmelo shooting just around 30% from beyond that three-point line.
Well, Ron Artest got caught talking to the referees, thought it was a foul when he went into the hole right there. And this is a slow closeout by Derek Fisher. And you see the high-arcing shot by Carmelo Anthony.
Crowd greeting the entrance of the Birdman. Chris Anderson has missed the last couple of games with a sprained left ankle. J.R. Smith checking in just moments ago. 13-2 run by the Nuggets. Shot clock to 3, and it is a 3-second violation on the Lakers.
Ron Artest trying to post up Carmelo Anthony. It looks like Phil Jackson's trying to post up early with Pau Gasol or Ron Artest without Kobe Bryant in the lineup tonight. Just got caught a little bit too long in the lane.
Nuggets off to the good start. They've hit 7 of 14 from the field. Lakers just 5 for 16. And very much out of their offense in the absence of Kobe Bryant. Artest with the steal. Petro is back. Artest is fouled by Petro.
And that's a theme you're going to see tonight, especially when Ron Artest is guarding Carmelo Anthony. Deflections, getting his hands on balls. He feels when he guards Carmelo Anthony between his shoulders and his chest that he lays on Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo's not good at taking the ball off the dribble, taking the contact, and either making the shot or making the play or pass.
Artest 74% free throw shooter. A reminder, national coverage of the NBA continues Sunday on ABC. The Magic and the Cavs, followed by the Blazers and these Los Angeles Lakers, starting 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday night on NBA TV, the Bulls and the Raptors. The Bulls and the Raptors going right down to the final days of the season for that 8th and final playoff spot. And Tuesday, a special TNT doubleheader. Celtics taking on the Bulls. Will be in Chicago for that one, followed by the Nuggets and the Suns, coverage starting 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Chicago still has to go play Toronto in Toronto one more time. Toronto has the tiebreaker between those two teams.
Both teams at 38 and 40. The Bulls hanging on to squeak out the win at home earlier tonight over Cleveland, 109-108. Artest open for 3. Yes.
And that's all because of the presence down low of Pau Gasol. Nuggets got caught in rotation, doubling down. Excellent job by the Lakers of swinging the ball around the perimeter, finding Ron Artest.
J.R. Smith met momentarily by a switch. Here's Billups. Petro on the recovery. Johan Petro's been in the starting lineup with Kenyon Martin sidelined over the last month with that knee injury. Petro, a 7-footer, originally a first-round pick of the Seattle Sonics. Spent 3 years with the Sonics. He has been getting an early first quarter foul trouble, but just 1 to this point. This is Shannon Brown coming up short. And the Lakers shooting continues to struggle. 6 of 18 from the field. Lakers with just 1 field goal the last 5 minutes. Anthony felt he was fouled, and it's deflected out. Last touch by Denver. Malik Allen will come on for the Nuggets, replacing Johan Petro.
Reg, maybe because of what you said, the strength of Artest versus Carmelo, but everything we've seen so far is catch, elevate, and shoot. We don't see him trying to attack by putting it on the floor, and what he does so well normally is get to the free throw line and shoot a lot of foul shots.
So the last time these two teams played, Ron Artest had 6 steals and probably half a dozen or a dozen deflections. It's because Carmelo Anthony likes to play with the basketball and dribble as Pau Gasol gets the tip in. You got to be strong with the basketball around Ron Artest. Because of his reputation of being a very staunch defender, he gets away with a lot. And the officials understand that.
Last night, Carmelo Anthony, 10 of 11 from the line. Has not been getting to the line, though, in recent games. J.R. Smith not able to hit. Here's Shannon Brown off the lead pass, and he is fouled. He was submarine. So Brown will head to the line. The foul is called on Smith.
Lamar Odom couldn't decide whether to keep the ball in his own hand, and then he saw Brown streaking on the left-hand side. It's like, here, you take it and go. JR goes for the swipe, misses, instead wipes out the legs on that one, so he'll go to the line for 2 free throw attempts.
Shannon Brown, who played so well for a good portion of this season, recently not been putting up the points. The Laker bench the other day against the Spurs, producing only 4 points. And they were thoroughly out-hustled.
How does that happen? A championship team only scoring 4 points at home. No, maybe possibly on the road. I can understand that.
Well, don't you think also the fact that Odom is in the starting lineup has contributed to the fact that they were getting more points off the bench because he was such a good 6th man?
And Vujic, the last 2 games he's played in, he got 3 minutes and 6 minutes respectively. So, he doesn't have a whole lot of time to put points up there.
Final seconds of the first quarter. Anthony gets the step. Artest lunging for the ball. Was able to break up that play as Brown fires and goes front rim. So an 8-2 run here by the Lakers to end the first quarter. The Nuggets led by as many as 8. They have that 13-2 run. We will hear from Phil Jackson when we come back. Nuggets 22, Lakers 20.
Where Denver leads 20-20. It's time for the Lincoln Coach's Corner, presented by Lincoln with Phil Jackson. Phil, what went into your decision to give Kobe the night off?
I really left it up to him. And, he said that, he'd like to take the night off late tonight when we double-check with him.
Without him, obviously, you've had some success in the past. Tonight against this team, what's the key to getting ball movement and to get other guys involved?
Yeah, we have some young guys that are still learning how to read the offense. This team switches, they push you down. They do a good job of hawking the ball. And we have to be prepared for that, move the ball ahead as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Phil.
We had some bad ball handling that quarter.
Thank you.
David mentioned the fact that the Lakers have had some success without Kobe. He's missed 5 games this year. They have won 4 of the 5, but that's a stat you throw out because you want Kobe Bryant on the floor.
And what I'm surprised about is that he's still got some young guys learning to run the offense. Phil, you've got 5 games left until the playoffs. If they don't know the offense by now, they're never going to know it.
Carmelo Anthony adjusting to get that shot off, and he draws the foul, so he will have his first 2 free throws. I mentioned earlier that he has not been getting to the line as frequently as he usually does. DJ Benga, who just came on, called for the foul, did go to the line 11 times. Last night hit 10 of 11. Carmelo had a big first quarter, 10 points. Denver at 51-27. It's game 1 of a 3-game homestand. Saturday night back home for San Antonio. It's a tough finish here for the Nuggets. Monday night home game against Memphis, and they wind up the regular season at Phoenix next Tuesday night.
Again, if you're any other team in the Western Conference, you want to be either 2, 3, 6, or 7. That way you're facing the Lakers when it counts the most. This will be the Western Conference Finals. That's why there's so much pressure as Farmer, who's been struggling offensively, gets one to go. You want to be able to face the Lakers when all the money is on the table. You don't want to face them in the second round, especially with a healthy Kobe Bryant and possibly Andrew Bynum.
Blake Allen not able to hit, so Jordan Farmar has checked in. He gets it. Oh, a hard hit by Allen on Odom. Let's see how the officials handle this. The officiating crew of Dan Crawford, Courtney Kirkland, Gary Zielinski.
And the way it came over the top of his head and shoulder, this could have snapped his head back right there. Unfortunately for Lamar, it came over the right shoulder more when you get that look from that angle. But Malik Allen's not going to let him make a layup. Takes a hard foul, puts him on the line.
That's a good playoff foul right there.
Well, I think the atmosphere of this crowd tonight is a playoff atmosphere. They were looking forward to this game tonight.
Was a question about a flagrant, but as you see, just a personal foul, putting Odom at the line. You see the stats on Lamar Odom. 12 points, 10 rebounds. The game lasts 45 games after a slow start, but he has also been in the starting lineup more frequently because of the injury suffered by Andrew Bynum.
I think the reason why he got off to that slow start, he was hurt. Had a little bit of a wrist injury. Wasn't shooting the ball particularly well. 3-second call. 3-second violation.
You know, Mark, if you go back to the 06-07 season, Odom, a starter for a lot of those games, was averaging just under, right at 16 points per game. Now, this season, just under 11 points per game. So coming off the bench, obviously, doesn't get the same minutes, not as productive.
Ty Lawson, the rookie from North Carolina, on the floor now for Denver, defending against Jordan Farmar. Farmar and Brown in the backcourt. Artest, Benga, and Odom up front. Artest played by Anderson and is able to hit the jumper. 13-3 run here by the Lakers, and they've taken a 25-23 lead.
They run that center opposite, and they run the rub screen. Normally that's Kobe coming into the low post area. Tonight they've got Ron Artest taking Kobe's place in the offense.
Artest has opened by hitting 4 of 5 from the field. Here's J.R. Smith.
And you can get that shot anytime if you're J.R. Smith. Sometimes you got to put the ball on the floor and try to get it into the teeth of the defense and create your own shot. You just can't settle for threes.
And Artest makes his move. He is hit on the head by Anthony. Trying to face guard him and made contact. Carmelo with his first.
And Carmelo's like, what? You got to be kidding me. This kid, on all my shots, has been face guarding me and hitting me on the top of my temples every time I shoot. I graze this kid and I get a call.
Farmar with a turnaround. Oh, good job by Benga to take it out of the hands of Anderson. And the foul. A hard hit. Shannon Brown taking to the rim and made the turn on Allen as he tried to go to the reverse, and Malik Allen collects his second foul.
Well, Phil Jackson now getting contributions off the bench. DJ Benga keeping the rebound alive. Offensive opportunity. Kicking it out to Shannon Brown, who gets fouled and is going to the free throw line.
Well, NBA fans, you can make your voice heard. For the first time ever, you have the chance to vote for the NBA's MVP, presented by Kia Motors. NBA.com/Kia MVP fan vote to cast your ballot.
Since I'm a fan, I'm going to cast it right now. He didn't play in game 1. That's who my MVP is.
You know, Reg, we had looked at an interesting statistic before the game. The fact that the Nuggets, shoot almost 31 free throw attempts per game. That's best in the NBA. On the other hand, the Lakers second best at giving their opponents the fewest number of free throw attempts per game at 22. So right now, the Nuggets have taken only 5 free throw attempts, which is way below what they normally would have right now.
I'm very confused about what Reggie just said. J.R. Smith gets the roll on the subject. Oh, look out, a steal! Ty Lawson with a terrific move, and the game is tied at 27. So as I look at the Cavalier box score, he said he would vote for someone who did not play. Shaq did not play.
He did not play.
Delonte West did not play. Oh, and LeBron did not play. I see. That's a three-point attack. Rebounded by Benga.
Was Reggie confusing you again? It happens an awful lot.
Well, it's not as confusing when you're not with us, though. For some reason, here's Farmar coming up short. Lakers able to save it. Benga goes glass. DJ Benga in his 6th NBA season out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, who usually sees just spot activity, getting a little more playing time these days with the injury suffered by Bynum. Anthony, he has that touch tonight. 13 points for Carmelo Anthony.
And that's two ways you've got to be able, when Ron Artest is defending you, either just raise up so his body can't lean on you, or you've got to run Ron Artest off screen so he can't hold you.
And Reggie, as you well know from going up against Artest in his Indiana Pacer days during practices, Artest is threat. Lawson with the lead. Anthony to the bucket, and he's hit by Benga. And we'll get back to that point on Ron Artest in a moment. A timeout has been taken. The game is tied at 29 as we take a break.
And J.R. Smith finally putting the ball on the floor, not settling for long three-pointers. And right here, Ty Lawson sneaking in a little bit behind. Lamar Odom not paying attention.
You're not listening to me. They play the ball. You got to protect the ball and move it. They're going to double team you.
What the coach is trying to do is make 2 points in the timeout. First of all, by in the paint, he means he wants his defense packed in tight. Take away all the drives. Then if they elevate the jump shoot, go out and challenge the jump shot as the second part of it. First part of it, stop the drivers. Second thing, when he said, you're not listening to me, when they put the ball down, the Lakers, he's telling them the Nuggets go for strips and steals. Move the ball more quickly.
Now, Czar, could you sense when guys were not listening to you, not as a broadcaster?
That happens all the time.
As a head coach.
They always listen, Mark.
Isn't it a little perplexed when you hear Phil Jackson talk like this? This is a guy that has 10 championship rings, and he can't get his point across to a team that is the defending champion.
Well, he knows that they hear him, but sometimes they walk out on the floor, Rich, and then they don't do what he just got done telling them to do. So that's where he comes back with, hey, you're not listening to me. I told you they're going to go after strips and double team you.
But isn't that a normal situation when you reach game number 78? And a lot of these guys have had great success. A malaise can set in. You don't want it to set in for too long a stretch of time. And right now, the Lakers are in a bad stretch.
They've been in the number one position all year. They've had a 6 or 7 game lead in this Western Conference all year. I mean, who's really pushed them? Other than the Cavaliers, who won twice against them this year. Who's really pushed them?
They're now looking as Luke Walton has checked in for the first time. Luke has had problems with his lower back. Shot clock at 1, and Shannon Brown gets it off. Kept alive by Josh Powell, who just came on.
6 offensive rebounds in this first half already for the Lakers.
Anderson called for the foul, but I would think the Lakers are looking A at Cleveland, B Orlando. Should it be Lakers-Orlando in a final? Let's check in with David Aldridge.
You know, you guys talking about the Lakers and their kind of malaise here at the end of the season. Kobe Bryant was at shoot-around this morning. He didn't tell us he wasn't going to play, by the way. And he said that, some of the championship teams he was on were even worse than this team when it comes to focus at the end of the regular season. He said that just the older you get as players, the more likely it is to slip in and out of that malaise zone during the regular season. But he thought that the team could bring itself together in time for the playoffs. But obviously, they've had some struggles with that, Mark.
Well, you understand this is a veteran team that understands the number one priority was to try to get the overall best record, which has gone to Cleveland. But second of all, have the best record in the Western Conference, which they will end up having. So they achieved one of those 2 goals. Now they're looking towards the playoffs. But this is not a light switch, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to be playing particularly well going in. You don't want some of these things that have come up, like second shot opportunities, the bench not playing great, as you see the best records in the league this season, as the Magic right now are creeping on the Lakers for that second best record overall.
Josh Powell called on that foul, and that's a foul called on Shannon Brown as he makes contact. Joey Graham just came on and took the hit. Graham couldn't believe it. He took a look to the right. He could not believe he took that shot. and heads to the line. A programming reminder, MLB on TBS is back Sunday afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the defending World Series champion New York Yankees playing the Tampa Bay Rays. Yanks took 2 of 3 up at Fenway to open up the season, winning last night in 10 as Curtis Granderson hit one out against John Papelbon. Sunday afternoon, 1:30, Yankees and the Rays on TBS.
High up, strike zone, fastball, gone. Granderson.
Powell with the recovery, and the Lakers lead it now 33-31. Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, the czar, Mike Fratello. David Aldridge works the sideline. 5 minutes in, second quarter. The Lakers and the Nuggets. The knee is fouled by Walton. Walton with his first, and quite a start for Carmelo Anthony.
Well, what I'd like is he's always been able to stretch the floor right here. You see the long juice here against runner test, and then you get the smaller defender on you. You take him down low and use your size to shoot over him. Third best scorer in the league, 28 points a game a night. And this is a chance for him. Got to the conference finals last year against these Lakers and had a fabulous series against Trevor Ariza, but now you're going against a former Defensive Player of the Year in Ron Artest, who was brought in for that very reason.
I was starting to talk about that earlier, Reggie. Phil Jackson telling us how effective Artest is against Carmelo because he forces guys to go to their offhand, and then he's able to get his hand in there and comes up with the strip. That's why you see so many deflections where Artest is involved.
Not only his hands, but he uses his shoulders and his chest, and that's why he doesn't get a lot of calls against him, is because the officials can't see it as Nene comes up with the block against Shannon Brown.
Here's Smith, J.R. Smith with a beautiful scoop shot. On the subject of J.R. Smith, how about April Fool's prank played on Kenyon Martin, who is not the guy you want to play an April Fool's trick on. He has this very expensive car, and so as Smith fires and hits from 3, apparently he went out to his car after he had worked out his Kenyon and found this very expensive car filled with buttered popcorn, which he did not appreciate. It turns out, allegedly, this was all pulled off by J.R.'s driver, a former Nugget ball boy. Not a good move.
The popcorn was okay. It was the buttered popcorn that agitated him.
That's a good point. Back in Denver, time for Taste Greatness presented by Miller Lite. And it was last night, Don Nelson becoming the all-time winningest coach in NBA history when the Warriors beat the T-Wolves for Nelson's 1,333rd career win. Passes by Lenny Wilkins. Don Nelson beginning his coaching career back in 1976 with the Bucks, 3-time Coach of the Year. A terrific player with the Boston Celtics. Vujacic not able to hit, but Josh Powell is right there. And the Nuggets now lead it by 3 as we come up on 5.5 remaining in this first half. So congratulations to Don Nelson.
Congratulations, Coach. Had a chance to play for him as J.R. Swish knocks down another 3 in the 94 World Championships in Toronto, where we won the gold medal. And from our crack staff, I understand, Coach, you're only 666 games behind Coach Nelson now.
That's it?
He's doubled you.
So if I live to be 100 and something and never get a coaching job again, I may be able to make it.
Although I must say, your total, pretty impressive.
667, Coach. Very impressed.
All right, here's Smith again. J.R. Smith had missed his last 10 threes before hitting the 2. And Sasha Vujacic with his first bucket. So J.R. Smith is now only 2 3-pointers away from passing Michael Adams for #1 in Denver franchise history in terms of 3-pointers made. J.R. Swish has as they refer to it here in the Mile High City. And here's Smith for three. Yes! So J.R. Smith, 13 points in this quarter. Meanwhile, Joey Graham went down.
And they finally did the right thing by grabbing someone to stop ball to get Graham off the floor. Looked like he may have twisted his ankle or a knee right there, but you see Nene goes baseline and finds a wide open Smith to knock down his third three of the night. Now he's one behind the great little Michael Adams for all-time three-point shots made here in the Mile High City.
Petro on the foul, Fisher to the line. J.R. Smith has scored the last 11 points for the Nuggets. That's a rare miss at the free throw line for Derek Fisher. And now Chris Anderson checks back in, coming on for Johan Petro. I mentioned the career that Don Nelson had as a player with the Boston Celtics. Remember that overhead shot, a most unusual touch that he had. But he was a key part of 5 championship Boston Celtic teams. And I remember when he retired from his playing career, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He thought he'd become a referee, and he went to officiating camp and decided that, no, I don't think I like that. And the foul will put Nene at the line. Powell picks up his second.
Did you see Don Nelson as an official? I just couldn't see that. Can't see that.
It was a occupation possibility at one point of his life. So Nene to the line. Hey, this June, TBS presents a very funny festival. 5 nights, 12 venues, over 100 comedians. For more information, go to TBSJustForLaughsChicago.com. So the Nuggets have taken a 46-38 lead thanks to the hot shooting of J.R. Smith, who last night was 0 for 5 from three-point territory. Gasol was played by Anderson and with help from Billups. Here's Gasol coming up short. Looked like Anderson got a piece. Billups passing out of 3, went behind the back, and that backfired. Nene tried to save, ends up in the hands of Fisher. 2-on-1. Artest comes up short off the nice lead from Vucevic. Artest hears it from the crowd.
He got caught in between. He didn't know if he wanted to dunk it or just lay it in.
And the Lakers double up on Anthony, leading to the foul call on Vucevic.
Yeah, Sasha does the right thing right here. Give the ball up to this freaking Ron Artest. And he's like, should I dunk it or should I just lay it in? And he got caught in between. And when you get caught in between, the rim stops everything else.
Lakers over the foul limit. Carmelo Anthony at 83%. Free throw shooter now 3 of 5 at the line. Denver Nuggets 51-27. They've won 3 in a row after losing 5 of 6 games, with 4 of those losses on the road. They won last night coming from behind in Oklahoma City. They have 3 games left in the regular season following this evening. And the Lakers going without Kobe Bryant tonight. Kobe being rested by Phil Jackson. Phil telling David Aldridge earlier he left it up to Kobe to make the decision. Gasol can't hit. Powell has it knocked aside. Good play by Anthony. Here's Nene taking it to the rim and then pops it out. J.R. Smith. Yes! A 19-5 Denver run. 4 threes for Smith. And he has passed by Michael Adams for number 1 in three-point shooting. Artest right back from downtown. So J.R. Smith, now the franchise leader in three-point shooting. And what a second quarter he has had. Anthony, yes, and it counts. Carmelo Anthony will go to the line looking for a three-point play. The foul on Artest, his first, and a timeout call. The Nuggets extend to 11.
To 41. The Nuggets care about their community. The Nuggets tipped off Green Week this week with a special tree planting event at the Pepsi Center. This was part of the mayor's Million Trees campaign. During NBA Green Week, teams and players around the league are raising environmental awareness while making a difference in their communities. The NBA, where caring about the environment happens. Marv?
Thank you, David. Always good to see Rocky, the Denver Nugget mascot, with the shovel helping out.
Yeah, I like the fact that Chris Anderson has really supported this cause. Green headband, green socks, green tattoos. He's got it all going on. He's totally green. There you go. Got those green socks on.
Didn't you show me you had some tattoos like that off your leg?
I try to keep them
concealed
out of public eye.
Okay.
And Carmelo Anthony completes the three-point play. I love Chris Anderson, who calls himself the best hillbilly in the NBA. He is from Iola, Texas, which is about an hour away from Houston. Extremely popular player here in Denver. Last touch by Artest.
Another deflection there by Ron Artest. And a lot of his deflections come with that left hand. He doesn't get him with his right hand. He gets him with his left hand, which is always so heavily bandaged because he always has so many sprained fingers and thumbs because he's always deflecting balls with that off hand.
Aaron Aflalo has come back. Checking in for today. He leaves with 8 points and 4 rebounds. Just under 2 left in this first half. J.R. Smith, 16 points, all coming here in the second quarter. That time coming up short. Anderson missed the tip. And it's last touch by the Lakers.
Lamar Odom couldn't get both hands on him. They tried to snatch it and swipe it into the second hand. That's where he lost control. Out of bounds, Nuggets ball.
Shannon Brown returns, coming on for Lamar Odom. Very quiet first half for Odom, 0 for 4 from the field.
And Phil Jackson electing for this last minute 49 to go small with a small unit with Ron Artest moving to that power forward position and Powell as the center.
Smith having trouble getting it in and just does beat the 5-second count. Illustrated tightly by Brown. Oh, beautiful pass to Anderson on the lob.
Yeah, and he saw, what a great read that time. He saw Derek Fisher was trying to cut off Anderson. He just took it and threw it up in the air.
Anderson defending on Gasol. Nice fake, and Gasol able to hit. A series of fakes by Paul Gasol. 12 points for Powell. 55-43 Nuggets. Fourth and final meeting of the regular season between these two clubs. Nuggets have won 2 of 3, including a win in L.A. in early February. Aflalo gets inside on Brown. And in that win in Los Angeles, Chauncey Billups, as we touched on earlier, had a career-high 39, including 9 from downtown. Fisher had the room, wanted to shoot a 3, but a foul is charged to Anderson. That is his second. Both teams over the foul limit, and as Pau Gasol goes to the line, we will check in with Matt Weiner back in our Atlanta studios. Matt. Thank you, Matt. Pau Gasol knocks down both free throws. Final minute of play, first half, and the Nuggets are up by 12 over the Lakers.
Normally the Lakers hold their opponents to 44% shooting, just 97 points a game. You see already there's a turnover. Artest out on the fast break opportunity.
And Anderson changed that shot. It's retrieved by Fisher. Here's Vujacic for three. Rebound Artest, and he draws the foul. Good play by Artest. All in one motion.
Oh, he should be shooting. That was all in one motion.
It was an offensive rebound that he got right back up again.
And they're over the foul limit, so either way. But Artest will head to the line.
10-3 offensive rebounds in favor of the Los Angeles Lakers in this first half, keeping them in the game, crashing the glass.
It's one of the weakest statistics that Denver has. Their opponents getting offensive rebounds on them. Over 11 per game people get against Denver. They don't do a real good job of putting a body on them, blocking out.
But at the other end, Denver averages 107 points a game. That's third in the NBA behind Phoenix and Golden State. Nuggets up by 10. 3-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Phillips working it down against Fisher. They spread it out. 10 on the shot clock. Anderson sets the screen. Good job here by the Lakers. 2-1, Afflalo. Rebound Fisher. They have to hurry. What a play from behind by Aaron Afflalo. Stripping Brown, not allowing the shot.
Great hustle play that time. Never giving up on it. Never assuming that the half was going to end. Chases down Brown from behind. Left hand to avoid contact. Great defensive play.
Halftime in the Mile High City. And the Denver Nuggets up by 10 points. Ron Artest, Pau Gasol, the high men for the Lakers. Carmelo Anthony with 19 points in the first half. 6 of 10 from the field. And J.R. Smith with 16 all in the second quarter. J.R. Swish has been on fire, and he's with David Aldridge.
J.R. last night 4-13 from the floor. Didn't seem to bother you tonight.
Nah, my motto is keep shooting till you make it, and fortunately I make it tonight.
He had last night with Carmelo Anthony going down and going out, but he looks like he's okay so far tonight in the first half.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he's one of those players who don't worry about the injury that he had last night. He plays today no matter what. So, I mean, he's done a great job so far. He's got 19 and 3-3, so that's exactly what we need him to do.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
The second half. When we come back after this brief timeout, we'll send it down to our Atlanta studios for the T-Mobile halftime report with Matt Weiner, Kenny, and Chuck.
Welcome back to Denver, Colorado. The NBA on TNT is presented by the United States Marine Corps. It's a 10-point lead as we head to the second half with the Nuggets over the Lakers. Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, the czar, Mike Fratello, David Aldridge working the sideline. And as we look at the second quarter, Denver with 35 points in the quarter. That's one shy of equally the most points given up by the Lakers in any quarter this season. That's the way things have gone tonight for the Lakers. And J.R. Smith with that first in the second quarter.
Well, a lot of people always say they wonder what they're going to get with J.R. Swish. Tonight it's been the long ball, and it's been dribble penetration, and he's doing a good job of floating to the three-point line. A little give and go, step back here to the three-point line. Nene goes baseline and finds J.R. Smith for the three, and then dribble kick out from Carmelo. 4-7 from three-point line, 16 points for J.R. Smith.
And for the Lakers, it's been Ron Artest in the first half. Once he's able to find the handle under the basket, he's so strong he finishes right in front of the bigger center. Getting behind the three-point line, he's 2 of 2. And then stepping out, facing up on Anderson, he hits that mid-range shot. 5 of 8 15 points, 2 steals, and he probably has 6 deflections already.
Nene gets the third quarter going with that stuff. It's a 59-47 lead for the Nuggets. For those who may have just joined us, Kobe Bryant sitting it out tonight, resting his legs. Phil Jackson saying that he has tired legs and hopes to see Kobe back in action tomorrow night in the game against the T-Wolves in Minneapolis. Here's Anthony for 3. The Nuggets hitting from downtown against the team that is number 1 in defending against the 3. Denver 7 of 14 from three-point range, led by J.R. Smith, who has hit 4 threes. Here's Fisher, rebounded by Petro.
Maybe I'm missing something, but where is the Lamar Odom that I remember, the aggressive, put the ball on the floor, go to the basket, get out in transition, face up and be an offensive threat? I haven't seen him.
Well, I haven't seen him, but more importantly, where has been the Lakers defense, that championship defense? This is a team that does a good job of guarding the three-pointers, guarding the paint. This is a team that's kind of going through the motion as Shannon Brown, who's starting in the second half instead of Sasha Vujicic.
Vujicic making his first start of the season, but has not been able to find the lane. Aaron Aflalo able to find the lane from downtown. He now has 8 points, and the Nuggets are up by 15. It's their biggest lead of the night. So Phil Jackson has Derek Fisher, Shannon Brown in the backcourt. Lamar Odom, Paul Gasol, and Ron Artest are up front. Gasol played by Petro. Petro's been in the lineup in the absence of the injured Kenyon Martin. Nice move by Paul Gasol.
Richie, I'm sure you've been through this situation. When you have such a powerful leader like a Kobe Bryant, who not only does it on the floor, but also in the locker room, he's the voice they hear over and over again. Teams can react differently. When he's missing in a game, they can rally and say, hey, let's show we can do it without him. Or do they kind of splinter apart because they don't have that leadership out there?
Well, tonight it looks like they're splintering apart, and this is when Lamar Odom, as we mentioned, and even Paul Gasol and Derek Fisher, who has 4 championship rings. This is a chance when guys need to step up and say, all right, Kobe's not around. Let's pull it together. Let's get our team. Let's get ready for the playoff runs to get these guys going.
All right, a look at our game summary presented by Budweiser as Carmelo Anthony goes to the line. You see the Lakers struggling at 33% from the field in the first half. Just 15 of 45. While the Nuggets 19 of 38, 50%. 8 3-pointers. 15 assists, only 9 for the Lakers.
We heard Charles talking at halftime. This is not going to be a cakewalk in the Western Conference playoffs for the Lakers like it was last season. There's a number of teams. You look at Dallas with the trade of Caron Butler and Brendan Haywood. They're deeper. They have more length to match up with the Lakers. As you see tonight, this Denver team, especially if you get Kenyon Martin back healthy, and their voice, George Karl. You got Phoenix Suns who are playing fantastic. Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire has been playing out of his mind since the All-Star break. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the Lakers. I think Kobe Bryant understands that, and Phil Jackson understanding we need to rest our star player with the dead, tired legs to get him going, because we're going to need a lot of Kobe Bryant come playoff time.
Foul is called on the Flalo as Gasol misses on the first. Let's go to David Aldridge. David.
Well, guys, you continue to talk about it. Lakers assistant coach Frank Hamblin said they played with absolutely no energy in the first half. The ball movement was bad, and they did a terrible job closing out on the 2 primary scorers for the Nuggets, Chauncey Billups and J.R. Smith. Frank Hamblin said exactly what you said, Reggie. We've got to start playing like the world champions, guys.
All right, David. And the Lakers guards just 3 of 20 from the field in the first half. Good play by Odom on the steal, stepping in front of Nene. Artest being played by Anthony. Gasol. Well, for foul, that's usually an easy opportunity. Petro's right in front of him. Gasol was able to work his way free. Nene facing a double. The shot clock running down. So Flalo get it off, but the Lakers have an opportunity to cut into that lead. It's now 13. Fisher came up short. Fisher is fouled by Petro.
And Fisher's the only purple jersey that's in the lane right now. He's the only one fighting for the ball. Everybody else on the perimeter.
2 shots for Derek Fisher. Correction on the foul. It's Carmelo Anthony who got a piece of Fisher. So Anthony with his second. National coverage of the NBA continues Sunday on ABC. The Magic and the Cavs, followed by the Blazers and the Lakers. Coverage starting 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday night on NBA TV, the Bulls and the Raptors starting at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Tuesday, a special TNT doubleheader. Celtics and the Bulls, followed by the Nuggets and the Suns. Those 2 games with playoff implications in terms of making the playoffs and also playoff seeding. Tuesday night coverage starts 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Well, a couple of tough breaks for Toronto. First they lose Bosch with the fracture of the nasal area. They had to do surgery on him in Cleveland at the Cleveland Clinic. And then Turkoglu getting hit in the face again last night going out of the game. So just a tough stretch for them. Came at the wrong time for Toronto.
And earlier tonight, the Bulls were able to defeat the Cavaliers in Chicago. So they have moved into a tie for the number 8 spot with Toronto. Both teams at 38 and 40. Foul is on Nene. Odom will go to the line. Nene picks up number 3.
Maybe we're seeing signs of life from Lamar Odom, being a little bit more aggressive of taking the ball to the basket. Got fouled there. Maybe he can get his rhythm going. You go to the free throw line. He hasn't shot the ball particularly well tonight. 0 of 4 from the field. Only 1 of 2 and only 1 point. So maybe you get a couple free throws underneath your belt. Maybe that can get you going a little bit.
He just looks exhausted to me, Reggie. I don't see the energy. I don't see the steam for Lamar Odom. Looks fatigued out there.
How can he be fatigued? They last played an afternoon game against San Antonio on Sunday. They've had Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off other than practicing.
What's the elevation here?
Well, the Czar told me he has been affected by the altitude. You can see he's speaking slowly. Well, that happens.
Every team that comes through here is going to face that.
10-point lead for the Nuggets. And Phillips draws the foul. Well, if the playoffs began today in the West, these would be the matchups. Lakers would face Oklahoma City. Right now, the Thunder in the number 8 spot. It would be Phoenix, Utah. That would be numbers 4 and 5, and there could be a lot of fluctuations over the next week. It would be Dallas against San Antonio, and Denver facing Portland.
How big was that no call by Oklahoma City in Utah on Kevin Durant? He gets fouled at the buzzer. They were down 1 on a 3-point shot. He's one of the best free throw shooters in the league. Let's assume he makes all 3 and they end up winning that game. They only would have been a half a game out of the number 2 spot. Now they're facing the 8th spot and going against the Lakers potentially in the first round.
And yesterday the NBA confirmed that officials did miss the foul on Durant.
Well, it doesn't do Scotty Brooks and Kevin Durant as Derek Fisher knocks down the lane any good. We'll say my bad a day later. $1 short.
The only aspect of that is it's rare when a league does.
I love it. They should do that more often because you already have people saying, superstars get calls and they only get calls come playoff time. Say my bad. Be honest. Be upfront.
I thought Kevin Durant did a great job of maintaining his composure. He really did. He knew he got hit. It was obvious. That was the game right there. He goes and makes 2 out of 3, and they win the basketball game. But you could just see on his face, he bit his tongue. He knew he wasn't getting anything changed. Tremendous composure by the young man.
Petro will sit down after picking up number 4. Anderson checks back in. 6:45 remaining. Third quarter. Nuggets up by 10. They have led most of the way. Gasol able to save it. Played by Nene. Shot clock to 6. Brown. That's a 3-pointer for Shannon Brown.
Huge shot there for Shannon Brown and the Lakers here. As much as we've been talking about them in the malaise and going through the motions, Lamar Odom struggling, they're only down 7 points here.
They have put together an 11-3 run. And Name twisting his way, rejected by Gasol. And Flalo called for steps.
Might have been fouled before the steps. That's what created the trouble, was the contact.
So the Lakers are within 7. They have Fisher and Brown at the guards, Odom, Gasol, and Artest up front. Brown was able to lose a Flalo on a pick. Gasol missed the tip. Rebound Anderson on the box out.
Well, you got to make that shot. You ran the play that Phil Jackson came back to it twice in a row. Same play. You got it to the front of the rim. You got to make those.
Nuggets without a field goal the last 4.5 minutes. Phillips. Rebound Gasol. Here comes Odom. Nuggets get back. Odom fires for 3. Kept alive by Artest. He's wide open. And scores. Hits a 3. And you can hear the contingent of Laker fans here in Denver responding to that shot. The Lakers have come from way back. Down by as many as 15. They're within 4. And Adrian Dantley takes a timeout. A 14-3 run by the Lakers.
And finally, it's the three-point ball. It was the Nuggets' three-point shots in the first half. Now it's been the Lakers. You had Shannon Brown. Now Ron Artest knocking down the 3-ball. Lakers only down by 4.
Colorado, better than 20,000 capacity crowd turning out here in the Mile High City. We're talking about that race for the second spot in the Western Conference. These are the 4 teams that have the best shot, although Portland, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City are still alive. You can see the breakdown in terms of remaining games for each of those teams.
Yeah, but Phoenix has the most difficult schedule. They finished up with Denver, Oklahoma City, and Utah. 3 out of the 4 all are in the playoffs right now.
Although, when you get to this point in the season, even when you're playing sub-500 teams, everyone is dangerous because those guys are loose as Anthony comes up short. Anderson is right there. And you just never know in terms of the opposition.
You got Houston beating Utah by 20-plus last night. You got New Orleans Hornets beating the Lakers about 10 days ago when they were on that road trip. So you talk about those 500 and sub-500 teams, they're just as dangerous.
Artest with the left hand, able to lay it home. And the Nugget lead is back down to 4.
And you have teams like Golden State who are trying to win it for their coach so he can break the record, right?
Just under 4.5 remaining. Third quarter. Anthony played by Artest. Flalo had hit shot blocked by Gasol. Shot clock running down. And it's a 24-second violation.
That's what I call a closeout. And this is a closeout from your 7'1", 7'2" center here. Pau Gasol starts from the paint and just extends that wing frame to get the block on Aaron Afflalo right there to force the 24-second violation.
He was in the blue, in the paint, one step, good big step into it, and still got to the three-point area to block that shot.
That is a close out.
Aaron Afflalo, though, an excellent pickup by way of the Detroit Pistons, third season out of UCLA. Sits down, replaced by the red-hot J.R. Smith, who had a sensational second quarter. Shot clock to 3. Here's Brown. There's a three-point attempt. Odom kept it alive. Odom with the bucket. A lot of Lakers fans here in the building.
Odom very crafty around the basket, switching hands from right to left, finishing amongst the tall, long arms in there.
And Coach, we talked about him struggling offensively. He does have 10 rebounds for the Lakers.
Nene thought he was tripped up. Phillips off balance. Rebounded by Gasol. Lakers can tie or take the lead. Shannon Brown has tied the game at 67.
What did Phil Jackson talk about? He wanted his team to get out and run a little bit more. Long shot by Chauncey Billups. Kick up by Ron Artest, and the finish.
A 20-5 spurt by the Lakers. And Anthony saving that dribble. Forced the shot. Lakers can take the lead. They're on the run. Fisher with the pull-up. He's been off. Artest went flying over Phillips as he tried to save it. And the question is, who did touch it last? Lakers take a timeout.
See Shannon Brown in transition, elevates, simply nobody there to challenge him at the front of the rim. Excellent job of getting in the open court by the Lakers.
To be out there and compete and give our very best, and I think that we'll be capable of delivering at the right time. So once we get going and once we feel like that the spotlight, the lights are on, it's going to be a little different. So I think we're believing in ourselves, we believe in our chance, and we're going to pursue it as hard as possible.
I like the words coming out of Pau Gasol, and I like his mindset, but I will throw a little caution to the wind. The game of basketball is not a light switch. You've got to have an ebb and flow. You've got to have a rhythm. And if you're not in rhythm, and you just think because you do have the jewelry and the hardware and the best closer in the game in Kobe Bryant, and you guys can turn it on at any time you want, I have news for you, my friend. There are teams that don't care about the purple and gold, that aren't worried about going against Kobe and Pau and Andrew Bynum, that are waiting and ready for you guys. So don't think it's a light switch.
Well, it was called Denver ball, and the end result off that pass from Phillips. Nene is fouled. Fouled by Odom, and Nene will head to the line. I can recall Boston Celtics head coach Doc Rivers the last couple of years having the same concerns as Phil Jackson. Yes. You can't just turn it on come playoff time.
You've got to be playing well, and even if you're losing games, be in sync a little bit, moving the basketball, talking on defense, communicating, rotating. That's what Phil Jackson is talking about. These guys just think, we have a comfortable lead in the West. We're just going to show up because we're the mighty Lakers. People don't care. They don't care.
Well, you guys didn't understand tonight when I was talking to you in the locker room before the game that this was big for us to go into the playoffs with momentum. We had to be on a roll going down the stretch, and you guys looked at me like you had no idea what I was talking about.
Reggie and I feel very good about ourselves. There's Gasol putting a move on Nene, who hangs in there, but call for the foul.
Where is the foul? Nene did an excellent job of keeping his hand up now. Did he crowd the body of Pau to pick up the foul? But from a layman's eye right here, that's good defense. Your chest is up. Your arms are straight up. That is an absolute terrible call by the official.
Number 4 on Nene. Gasol 9 of 10 at the line. Well, we have a moment here. I'd like to congratulate Lakers owner Jerry Buss, who has been elected to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame earlier this week, part of a very impressive class of 2010. Jerry bought the Lakers back in 1979. His team has won 9 NBA titles, including last season. And overall, during his ownership, the Lakers have been to 15 NBA Finals, from the Showtime era to Shaq and Kobe, and now Kobe. Here's Phillips. Well, what a class. Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, the late Dennis Johnson, the late Gus Johnson of the Baltimore Bullets, WNBA star Cynthia Cooper, Bob Hurley Sr., who had great success, has had great success with St. Anthony's High School in Jersey City. And that's a 3 for Shannon Brown. The Lakers in command here in this third quarter, following a lackluster second quarter. They now lead by 3. Phillips, yes. Chauncey Billups has had a very quiet night. Just 3 of 10, 9 points. The Laker lead is now 1.
Chauncey coming off that strong game last night in Oklahoma City. Nuggets down 13 with 7 minutes to play. Found a way to win it in regulation.
41 points last night for Chauncey, including 4 threes. Fisher, rebounded by Nene. And Nene has to be careful playing with 4. Phillips down the lane. He thought he was fouled. Artest took a hit, and the foul is called on the Nuggets. That's number 3 on Anthony.
After seeing last night's performance with Billups going for 31 points, you'd have to say Derek Fisher has done a pretty good job. Chauncey Billups now just 3 of 11 from the floor. Now it's taken its toll on Fisher. He's just 2 of 9 from the floor, but he's done a good defensive job up to this point on Billups.
Ron Artest, 3 of 4 at the line. He has had a solid game, 20 points, 5 rebounds. Picked up the scoring in the absence of Kobe.
And really, Ron won't be judged until what this Laker team does come playoff time. Obviously, it was a basic swap for Trevor Ariza and Ron Artest. And Trevor Ariza, we know, 2 big plays in that conference finals against these Nuggets and got a championship ring. Now we got to see what Ron Artest is going to do.
Laker team that last year won 65 games. Anthony with a foot on the line. It's a 2. Carmelo has brought the Nuggets within a point.
Ron Artest is upset with himself. He felt he didn't crowd Carmelo enough on that shot.
22 points for Carmelo Anthony. And it's an offensive foul. The ball back to Denver. Artest called for the foul. That's his second.
And Ron didn't need to do that. You don't need to post up when you're at the corner right there. Just a little bit too much strength right there that called for the offensive foul.
About a second differential between the game clock and shot clock. The Lakers do have a foul to give. Phillips using the pick. Sets it up for Malik Allen for 3. Rebound Smith. Final seconds. He turns. He shoots. And that's the end of the third quarter. It's amazing that J.R. Smith got that shot off. Crowded in the corner. We've got a good one going here in Denver. After 3, the Lakers 74, the Nuggets 73. When we come back, David Aldridge will talk with Denver acting coach Adrian Dantley. The NBA on TNT is being presented by the United States Marine Corps. Moments ago, David Aldridge caught up with Nuggets coach Adrian Dantley.
Adrian, you were concerned about offensive rebounds coming into the game, and that's how they got back into the game, right?
Well, they just bullying us. Just knocking us all over the place, and we're not being physical. We told them we want to come out and hit them first. They hitting us. Then in the third quarter, we're selling for jump shots instead of taking it to the rim.
Is that what Carmelo has to do in the fourth quarter, especially against Artest?
Go to the rim. That's our game plan. Go to the rim. But the main thing is offensive board is killing us.
Thank you.
And for Adrian, his 16th game, you saw the record 9-6. So over the last 9, they're just 4-5. He's filling in for George Karl, recovering from neck and throat cancer. How about Adrian Dantley, who has made it back after dealing with kidney stones? He had to miss a practice, and assistant John Welch took over to run practice. In the third quarter, the Lakers outscored the Nuggets 27-16. Denver just 6 of 21 from the field. The Lakers by 1 as this fourth quarter gets underway. The rookie Ty Lawson has come on. Gives it over to J.R. Smith. Smith short on a 3. And this is Jordan Farmar coming across. Sasha Vujacic has returned. Farmar. And the Lakers up by 3.
Farmar knocked that shot down, but 2 bad possessions to start this fourth quarter for the Lakers. 2 quick shots. No ball movement.
Anderson, Anthony, and Allen up front with Lawson and Smith at the guards. Anthony with very little room to operate against Artest, but it's kept alive. Smith for 3. Yes! That's his 5th from downtown. He's already in the Denver Nugget record book as the all-time top 3-point shooter. Earlier tonight, he passed Michael Adams in that department, and he's hit 5 here this evening. Anderson knocked it aside, recovered. Farmar. Anderson got a piece of it. Gasol is right there for the follow.
Powell did a good job of following the guard down the lane. Nobody had a body on him. Then he's so long. If you get boxed in too deep, he's still going to go over the top and score.
Already 15 offensive rebounds for the Lakers.
2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Lakers up by 2. Lawson. Back comes Farmar. Farmar with the step. He's around Smith. Could not convert.
Point blank layup for Jordan Farmar. You got to be able to knock that down.
Smith for 3. Powell with the rebound. Josh Powell has checked in for the Lakers, so Powell is on the front line with Artest and Gasol. Phil Jackson doing a lot of shuffling here tonight. Vujacic for 3. And he thought he was hit by Smith. Sasha Vujacic, who has worked his way out of the doghouse, had a run-in with assistant coach Brian Shaw recently, and has not been getting the playing time, but with Kobe Bryant sitting out tonight, Phil Jackson decided to start Sasha. Got off to a slow start, but has shown some signs, and the Lakers now lead 81-76.
Well, he's 1 for 7 up to this point. He lets that one go with the defender right there, challenging it. Hits the bottom of the net. Lakers up 5. Lakers up 81-76. The Lakers want to play through Pau Gasol, who's in the low post area. They're going to feed Gasol, and then what they'll do is right there, they'll run their split series. Once Artest gets it, he'll go through. They'll bring Vujacic around. The man that's going to have to make a decision is that man, J.R. Smith. Do I stay home with Vujacic, or do I go back in the low post area? Once the ball goes in, right here is where the decision is made. 2 defenders go back to Pau Gasol. Vujacic now slides over to the open spot. It's a matter of Pau making the decision what the right time is. Vujacic answers by hitting the 3.
We're early fourth quarter. And Denver leading by as many as 15. Now trailing by 5. Here's Smith twisting his way. J.R. Smith with 21 points.
Nice tough move down low by J.R. Smith.
Farmar guarded by Lawson. Shot clock to 5. Down to 2. Artest with a long three-point attempt. Kept alive by Gasol. Vujacic way off on that 3. And Courtney Kirkland, the official at the baseline, says stay right here. The foul being called on Malik Allen of Denver.
Lakers, again, doing an unbelievable job at the offensive end of keeping the basketball alive and getting second shot opportunities. Already 16 offensive rebounds tonight. They are +9 in second chance points.
Shannon Brown is checked back in. Come on for Sasha Vujacic. Gasol spinning on Anderson. Yes, and the foul. Chris Anderson called on the personal.
Pau Gasol is such an easy scorer. He's got such a variety of shots. He can shoot the jump shot, whether it's facing up, a little spin move like we just saw. He can hook shot with either hand, gets on the offensive boards. Now watch this. Fakes the handoff, puts it down, fake one way, spin back, a little bit of a fade by a long 7-footer. That's tough to block right there. He's a terrific scorer, Pau Gasol.
23 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists for Gasol. And now Phil Jackson sends Sasha Vujacic back onto the court and give Ron Artest a rest. So the Lakers go with a 3-guard alignment. They lead by 6 points, coming up on 8 minutes to play here in the fourth. Smith making the turn and puts it in.
He saw Vujacic was on him. He knew he was going by him the second he caught it, because that's what happened early in the game. Twice Vujacic got blown right by with the offensive player from Denver putting it on the floor.
Been a sensational night for J.R. Smith. 23 points. He had 16 back in the second quarter. Gasol, a leaner, rebounded by Vujacic. Good job by Sasha. And they have the new clock.
That can't happen if you're a Nugget. Patrick Reeves is coming in getting offensive rebound.
Vujacic for three. Yes, he was wide open. And Josh Powell was able to find him. The Lakers lead it by 7.
Well, the reason why he was so wide open is because of the presence again of Pau Gasol down low.
Anthony Carter, who came on a moment ago, playing for the first time tonight, able to hit on that runner. Lakers 87, the Nuggets 82. Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, Mike Fratello, David Aldridge. We're at the Pepsi Center in Denver. Vujacic, that time too deep. Smith for three. Catch and shoot attempted by J.R. Smith. Vujacic racing it across. Met by Phillips. Gasol with the fadeaway.
Soft touch for a big ball. They give and go, turn into the lane.
They run their whole series off of Pau Gasol because he's so multi-dimensional. Not only can he score, but he can find open people and make a pass.
Phillips is open, and he drills a three. 89-85 Lakers. 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. They clear it out for Gasol, played by Anderson. Powell does not get the roll, and it's stopped out of bounds by Powell of the Lakers. Timeout is called. Pau Gasol, the high point man, now with 26 points, 13 rebounds. J.R. Smith leads the Nuggets with 23. We'll be back to the Pepsi Center in a moment.
4 times Sadene, and he's made passes out of it. You're letting the ball come in too easy to him. Disrupt that. Disrupt that pass. Get a hand out there. Now they challenge those passes. You got to step to the ball. Get it. Right? Petro, Nene, all these guys challenge that.
Offensively, Pau Gasol's been brilliant. 26 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. But Phil Jackson wants more of a defensive effort. Nene, Petro, too many easy early entry passes down low, which are leading to some of these three-point shots by Chauncey Billups, and J.R. Smith wants more ball pressure to try to disrupt that.
Denver in possession. They're trailing by 4. And Anthony is hit by Odom. 3 on Odom. Lakers committing just their first team foul. Nene with Anthony on the front line. And Nene takes from Phillips. 3-guard set for the Nuggets. Phillips for 3. Phillips thought he was fouled by Fisher.
Fisher did a good job of just staying down, not challenging. He figured Phillips would try to jump into him.
Farmar and Fisher at the guards. Here's Farmar putting the move on Carter. Rebounded by Nene.
That's 2 layups that Farmar has missed point blank.
Anthony in the open court. Anthony battling to get that shot off. Carmelo Anthony has brought the Nuggets within 2.
I didn't think he needed to crossover. I thought he could have gone right to his right hand and taken it right to the basket.
24 points for Anthony. Vujacic for 3.
Phil Jackson has to think about bringing back Ron Artest, especially with Carmelo Anthony back on the floor.
Vujacic 3 of 12 shooting. Here's Nene. Brown wanted a foul. Gasol got a piece of the ball. Johnson. Vujacic again. Another Farmar shooting that three-pointer. So Jordan Farmar now has 7 points. And the Lakers lead 92-87. Phillips with the step. Phillips missed the layup. Fisher with the rebound. Carter wasn't able to get to it. Phillips had the clear path. Playing with the 4 fouls. Gasol gets it inside, but Odom not able to handle it.
And Chauncey Billups gets by Derek Fisher at the layup, at the rim, misses the layup, and Anthony Carter tries to follow and can't get a handle on it.
Ron Artest getting set to check back in. See Odom closing out on Anthony, preventing that 3. Anthony on the drive. Scores. Carmelo Anthony. Coming up on 3 minutes to play here in the 4th, 3-point Laker lead.
And that's why Phil Jackson has that man, number 37, Ron Artest, getting ready to check in. You got to be able to put a body on Carmelo.
Fisher able to keep it alive. Here's Fisher. Things are getting very tough at both ends.
Oh, boy, you better be a man going in there right now. There's a lot of contact going on.
As Anthony for 3. The game is tied at 92. Lakers call for time.
And it's been a chess match, and Adrian Dantley moved his team first by bringing in Carmelo Anthony. 7 quick points off the bench for the Melo Band.
Tonight's United States Marines Corps teamwork play of the game.
Anthony Carter pushing the ball down the floor, keeps his head up and knows that Carmelo is in that deep left-hand corner. Guards, keep your head up. You have to know where your teammates are, and then give it to the guy you know can make a shot. It's Carmelo Anthony.
And for more Marines teamwork play of the game, log on to NBA.com. Carmelo Anthony among the leaders in terms of 4th quarter scoring. LeBron James on top, led by Dirk Nowitzki, Carmelo, Kobe, and Danny Granger of Indiana. Anthony now overall with 29 points. He's hit 3 from downtown. J.R. Smith with 5 threes. He has 23 points. Pau Gasol leading the Lakers with 26. The game is tied at 92 with 2.5 remaining in the 4th. Vujacic played by Carter. They try to double team and they get the jump ball.
You've got to protect the basketball when you're around Anthony Carter. Known for his defense, moving his feet, but he has very quick hands. On that time, Vujacic was just a little bit lazy with getting into his curl move. Carter doing a good job of tying him up.
So they go for the trap, and it works. Anthony Carter in his 4th year with Denver, a valuable guy off the bench. 11 NBA seasons out of Hawaii. Controlled by the Lakers. They have 5 on the shot clock. Fisher, and a whistle, a foul is called on Billups. So Derek Fisher fouled in the act. Will shoot 2.
It looked like he might have got him a little bit on the wrist or hand area. People talk about it as a hand part of the ball right there, but it looked like it was that follow-through. Might have made contact with the head of Derek Fisher to get the foul.
Derek Fisher, normally less than foul, so just 2 of 4 at the line. His shooting has been off.
Well, now you got Ron Artest back in the game. We're wondering if they're going to try to go back down low to Powell or try to run some offense through Ron Artest.
The game has gotten so physical now. You start putting hands all over people, particularly when they're elevating to shoot, they're going to make the call right now. Under 2 minutes to go in the game, you know you're going to get that.
Lakers with a 2-point lead by virtue of those free throws. Here's Smith. Nice move. Hold it back, although Rita just felt that he was pushed.
Well, you talked about Carmelo Anthony being one of the better fourth quarter scorers. Almost 6 points a game is J.R. Smith, 8th best.
And he has scored 9 of his 25 here in the fourth. Odom is fouled by Anthony. Lamar backing in. Anthony picks up number 4.
And that was a serious, strong move that time by Odom. He knew he had Carmelo Anthony, got it in the low post area, and that's one of the most assertive moves he's made in the interior.
Non-shooting foul, but it's number 4 committed by Denver. Game is tied at 94. Just under 2 minutes to play in the fourth. Lakers trying to clinch the Western Conference title. Denver battling for that second seed. There's Vujacic with time running down. And it's a 24-second violation.
Another challenge by Nene. A deflection. It winds up costing the Lakers a possession. And now the ball goes back to Denver.
And it's funny because that's what Phil Jackson has been wanting Pau Gasol to do to Nene. Get out and extend and make those entry passes like that difficult.
This point of the fourth quarter, Denver without a turnover and without a free throw. And he will head to the line.
Nobody had Pau Gasol's back covered. He went out to show on the pick and roll. The weak side never came over to plug in the lane area. The roll to the basket, Pau just basically grabbed him to stop the layup.
Third foul on Gasol. Nene, a 70% free throw shooter, has 2 coming up. We'll check in with David Aldridge. David.
Chris Anderson's been playing with a fractured left ring finger, but he says that he injured his left pinky finger on that last possession. Head athletic trainer Jim Gillen taped the 2 fingers together. He's got ice on it right now. We'll see if he can come back into the game if they need him.
All right, David. Chris Anderson going to the bench moments ago. He's been a big factor off the boards. So Nene hits 1 of 2, and the Nuggets lead by 1.
Well, how about Adrian Dantley going with the small lineup with Carmelo Anthony at that 4 position?
Gasol facing up on Nene. Nene knocked it away. What a play by Nene, and Denver takes possession. Just under a minute to go in the fourth. Artest switched off to Phillips. Anthony now played by Odom. Shot clock to 7. Anthony is fouled by Odom.
And what happens when you move Carmelo Anthony to that power forward position? It allows Ron Artest off of him to have Lamar Odom on him. Look at the nice defense here by Nene, moving and having active hands, coming up with the steal. And at the other end, here's Carmelo Anthony just facing Lamar Odom, raising up. Hand foul for Carmelo going to the line, shooting 2.
Now Anthony, usually an excellent foul shooter, 83%, but just 6 of 9 tonight. Oh, he got the roll.
Oh, a little bit of lady luck there tonight.
Down to 44 seconds remaining in the fourth, and the Nuggets lead by 2. 22nd timeout will be called by the Lakers. And we will take a break. We'll be back here in Denver after this. The NBA on TNT continues. Coming up next, scores, highlights, and analysis. As always, on Inside the NBA, Matt White, Charles Barkley, and Kenny Smith on hand. Matt is sitting in for Ernie Johnson. I'm told Ernie is on other assignment.
In other words, it's saying, I'm tired of Charles and Kenny. I need a break. Assignment. Is that what you're saying?
It is an other assignment.
Okay.
Getting involved with his baseball duties. So Carmelo Anthony hits on both. And the Nuggets now lead at 97-94.
It's a one-possession game. You necessarily do not have to go for the three-point shot right now. Go for a 2-for-1.
10-2 run by Denver. Fisher digging for the basket. And he is fouled. That also puts the Nuggets over. Foul committed by J.R. Smith.
It looked like Phil Jackson and the Lakers were going for that 2-for-1 right here. And you put your head down and try to get into the lane and get a foul, which Derek Fisher did. One of the better free throw shooters for the Lakers.
Barrett, 86% at the line, and now 5 of 7. Some timeouts remaining. Both clubs are over the foul limit.
Now in this possession, I definitely see Ron Artest guarding Carmelo Anthony and having Lamar Odom as Adrian Bentley elects to take his timeout.
We're down to 32.4 remaining in the fourth. When we come back, Denver ball, they are up by 1. At 1 point, Denver led by as many as 15. The Lakers playing tonight without Kobe Bryant, sitting out just to rest the tired legs. And it's a 1-point Denver lead as you see 32.4 to go in the fourth.
And there's an 8-second differential between the 24-second clock and game clock. So Phil Jackson wants solid defense. You don't have to foul anyone, but you must get a defensive rebound. Then they have timeouts left to advance the basketball or just push through it in transition.
And if you're Carmelo Anthony, you cannot play with the basketball around Ron Artest. We talked about the deflections and how he uses his hands and his shoulders to come up with steals and deflections. You can't play with the basketball. If you're going to make a definitive move off the dribble, you've got to go hard and you have to go quick.
Both teams over the foul limit. Phillips met by Fisher. And he comes out to set the pick. Smith moving on Brown. Lost it. Brown looking for a foul. And that pass is deflected. And last touch, Mr. Gary Zielinski says last touch of the Lakers, but now checking with Dan Crawford and Courtney Kirkland.
Well, here's my thinking. If it's off Chauncey Billups, the ball would have went the other way. The ball came towards us, so I'm assuming that Derek Fisher hit the ball last. Now, if Chauncey was to hit the ball, it would have went the other way. The ball came towards us, which leads me to believe Derek Fisher may have hit the ball second. But the official, Dan Crawford's going to go to the replay to see who touched the ball last. This is one of the new rules this season, which I love, is the officials have a chance to go. You see somewhat of a lazy pass there by Shannon Brown.
You know, it's tough to see.
It really is. It really is.
But Phillips' hand could have come up underneath the ball to knock it that way, Reggie. And the key is the pass by Brown was unnecessary at that point. You have the basketball, secure the basketball, take a timeout, or make sure that it's a wide open outlet pass.
So if Chauncey has the ball underneath and touches it up in the air, and it still flies this way, it's still leading me to believe that Derek Fisher touched the ball last. Here's Chauncey Billups. He does get a hand on the ball, but it looks like that right hand of Derek Fisher may have touched it last, where it swings back to us.
Dan Crawford wants yet another look. Very difficult to tell.
This is one of the most difficult calls I've seen to date when it comes to replay.
They could call this a jump ball.
They could, yeah, they could. And I'm not sure if you'd be happy with that or not, depending on which team you are.
Well, and looking from this angle, that's Denver ball. It's Denver ball. Because, as I said, if Chauncey Billups hits it from underneath or going forward, the ball would have went the other way. It would have went towards the Nuggets basket. The ball came towards us, and it's the right hand of Derek Fisher that hits it second.
And they are calling it Denver in possession. Way to play the angles, Reggie.
I was a math major.
Yes, with a ricochet. 14 on the shot clock. So they checked it out, went to the replay. And the Nuggets have it. Lakers are over the foul of it. It's a 1-point Nugget lead, and there is a foul given by Shannon Brown. That'll put J.R. Smith at the line for 2.
Yeah, and what a physical confrontation between Fisher and Billups. Billups trying to get free, a terrific free throw shooter. He wanted the basketball. Derek Fisher was not going to let him have that thing without contesting him. Now Smith's got to go to the line, and either way, Lakers are going to take a timeout and advance it.
He's a 70% free throw shooter on the line for the first time tonight.
And now, if you go back to what's happened during the game, you must make sure you block out, get the rebound. Do not give the Nuggets another possession on an offensive rebound.
Lakers have a full timeout and a 20 remaining.
I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Jackson does not take a timeout here, especially if the game is tied. Worst case scenario, you go to overtime.
Smith hits 1 of 2. Nuggets up by 2. 12 seconds to play in the fourth. This would normally be Kobe time. Down to 5, down to 4, down to 3, down to 2. Fisher blocked by Carmelo Anthony, and the Nuggets pull it off. Derek Fisher, who has hit his share of game winners and clutch shots during the course of his career, could not get that one off.
Well, that makes you go back and look at it and say, should the team have taken a timeout, advanced the ball, and at least got into a set play they knew they were running? Basically, they went away from a guy who's got 26 points for him, Pau Gasol. Fisher tried to shoot it over the top of a much taller defender, Carmelo Anthony, a most difficult shot.
All right, here's another look as Anthony contests. And fortunate not to make contact. Would have been 3 free throws for Derek Fisher. Laker players not happy with that last possession, obviously. And the Nuggets win it 98-96. They go to 52-27. Lakers now 55-23. They have dropped 5 of the last 7 after winning 7 straight. Let's go to David Aldridge and Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo, last possession, you contested the shot. What happened after?
I came down on Fisher's ankle, on his foot. Twisted my ankle a little bit, but I'm glad we got the win tonight. That's all I can say.
For a guy who was unconscious 24 hours ago, you seem to come through it okay.
I was still a little, I still got a headache right now. It was pounding. I knew how important this game was, though. I could not play in this game.
You mentioned how important this game was with the West as tight as it is. You could finish second, you could finish 6th, you could finish 5th. Can you not afford to be out of any games now?
There's no margin of error right now. Coming down to the last 3 games, we got to win out.
J.R. Smith in the first half had a terrible night the night before, but came through tonight, gave you guys a great lift when you were struggling a little bit early.
Yeah, he bounced back, from last night, the game he had last night. He came in, knocked some shots down, gave us the lead, and we can build from that.
2 Advil usually work good on the head.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Marv.
Is that a paid promotion? Denver is now the number 2 seed, but this will continue to fluctuate. They are a half game over Dallas and Phoenix. Nuggets now 3 games left in the regular season. Although the Lakers do still have the best record in the West, there is some concern. Has to be concerned in L.A. because not the way you want to go into the postseason with the Lakers trying to battle through this stretch. They now have lost 4 of their last 5 games. Thanks to our producer, Scooter Bettino, director Renardo Loa, statistician Brian Taylor. Carmelo Anthony leads the way for Denver with 31. J.R. Smith with 26, hitting the long ball, hitting the 3-point shot for the Lakers. Pau Gasol with 26 points. Marv Albert along with Reggie Miller, the czar Mike Fratello, and David Aldridge. Coming up next, it's the award-winning Inside the NBA. We now take you to Atlanta in our TNT studios. We go to Matt Weiner, Charles Barkley, and Kenny Smith.